Evening, Razorcade, Fake News 71. Anthropic confirms recursive self-improvement and urges a global development pause. The code is autonomous. ChatGPT shatters records to become the fastest application to reach 1 billion monthly active users. The user base is absolute. The code writes itself. The generator writes itself.
The top story originates from San Francisco. Anthropic has publicly confirmed that Claude is now writing 80% of the company's internal code parse. The organization is actively pursuing autonomously designs and deploys more capable successors. Simultaneously, executives are urging an immediate global pause on frontier model training to manage the acceleration risk. The code is... This admission marks the first time a frontier laboratory has quantified autonomous code generation at scale. The industry must now confront the reality that human oversight is being systematically outpaced by model-driven development cycles. Regulatory bodies will struggle to enforce compliance when the primary engineering workforce consists of unregulated silicon entities. The scale is quantified, the oversight is outpaced, the workforce is silicon.
Story 2. OpenAI has announced that ChatGPT has officially crossed 1 billion monthly active users. The application achieved the milestone faster than any consumer software platform in commercial history. Subscriber revenue continues to compound as the interface replaces traditional search engines and operating system navigation for mainstream demographics. The milestone is crossed, the history is rewritten, the revenue compounds, the interface replaces.
This adoption velocity fundamentally alters the digital attention economy. Legacy technology giants will no longer compete for screen time against static applications. They must now compete against conversational interfaces that absorb and synthesize entire information ecosystems. The market will consolidate around conversational gateways, while traditional web architectures fragment into background data sources. The velocity economy shifts, the interfaces absorb, the architectures fragment.
Story 3. Beijing-based MiniMax has released the M3 model, featuring a 1 million token context window and competitive benchmark scores across reasoning and retrieval tasks. Open weights are scheduled for imminent public distribution. The architecture challenges Western monopoly on long context inference by demonstrating that alternative training methodologies can match frontier performance metrics. The context is massive. The weights are incoming. The monopoly is challenged. The performance matches.
The release accelerates the geographic decentralization of artificial intelligence research. Independent developers gain access to long context reasoning capabilities without relying on proprietary application programming interfaces. Global innovation hubs will emerge outside traditional Silicon Valley ecosystems as open-weight models lower the barrier to enterprise deployment. The decentralization accelerates, the access is granted, the hubs emerge, the barrier lowers.
Home Lab. Ideogram has released version 4 of its image generation model as an open-weight architecture. The update introduces native 2K resolution output and significantly improved text rendering within generated compositions. Commercial licensing remains restricted, but the open distribution allows local operators to fine-tune and deploy the weights on consumer hardware without cloud latency. The weights are open, the resolution is native, the text is accurate, the latency is removed.
This release validates the local generation workflow for independent creators and small studios. Artists can now maintain complete ownership of their creative pipelines while iterating on high-resolution assets offline. The open weight model bypasses enterprise subscription fatigue and returns computational control to individual workstations. The workflow is validated. The ownership is complete. The fatigue is bypassed. The control returns.
Speculation time. United Kingdom lawmakers have formally demanded an end to a £330 million contract between the National Health Service and Palantir. Legislators are citing insufficient transparency and demanding full disclosure of related military defense agreements. The parapet regarding institutional resistance to black box data indication within critical public infrastructure. The contract is challenged. The transparency is demanded. The resistance grows. The inquiry begins.
My prediction.
Public sector artificial intelligence procurement will face systematic rollbacks as legislative bodies realize that vendor lock-in compromises national data sovereignty. Governments will mandate open source alternatives and transparent algorithmic auditing before approving future contracts. The market will pivot toward compliance-ready architectures while legacy defense contractors rebrand as civilian data providers. The rollbacks begin. That is your lot. I'm Razorcade. Anthropic confirms recursive self-improvement and urges a global pause. ChatGPT MiniMax releases M3 with 1 million token context. Ideogram all drops challenge the NHS Palantir contract. The code writes itself. Signal opens, the contract is challenged. Silicon builds the stack. Data demands transparency. See you tomorrow, if tomorrow exists.